You're listening to the ClearTrack HR Podcast, a show about employee benefits, employment law, and other topics for HR professionals. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you hear. Now here's our host, Zach Finney.
Thank you for listening to the ClearTrack HR Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Finney, and we have a special guest today. She is the Vice President of National Expansion of the fastest growing 100% real estate franchise in the country, JPAR Real Estate, based out of Frisco, Texas. She has an extensive real estate background from all the way from owning and selling a successful brokerage that doubled in production year over year to helping a lead generation tech company grow into a $200 million acquisition. She has built highly productive teams, which I personally had the pleasure of working on back in the day. She's worked in the iBuyer space. She coaches and mentors brokers on how to start and grow a successful brokerage. Big welcome to my friend Chastity Davenport. Chastity, thanks for joining the podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me, Zach. I appreciate it.
Awesome. And so I would really like to dig in today on kind of housing market trends and how it, with 2020, how that looked. But before we kind of dig into that subject, can you tell the listeners kind of how you got started in the real estate industry?
Yeah, for sure. Initially, I was really drawn to the marketing and advertising aspect. It led me to some great positions at home builder companies, and then I started really recognizing how much fun and honestly how much money all of the sales department was making. So I decided to get my license back in 2008 and join the exciting world of real estate. Obviously, that was during a national housing market crash right there in 2008. So, you know what they say, if you can make it in that real estate climate, you can make it through anything.
Yeah, I guess there's nowhere to go but up after that.
Right.
And so, as I mentioned earlier, the VP of expansion for JP and Associates, I mean, that sounds like a pretty big deal. I mean, with that position, what is your main focus?
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. So
That's what, yeah.
just kidding. My company, however, is a really big deal. We are, as you said in the intro, we're the largest independent real estate brokerage in Texas, and we are also the fastest growing 100% commission franchise in the country. And so we have a lot of accolades that speak to our rapid growth. Actually, Inc.com just named us as a top 10 franchise in the nation, not just real estate, but out of all of the industries franchising. So that was a pretty big deal as well. To speak to kind of what, the question about my specific position, I focus on ensuring that the expansion continues this path of growth throughout the US. So currently we're in 20 states with about 70 offices sold. Our goal is to be in all 50 states by 2023. And my team and I, we just go out, we find brokers in our industry that have a desire to start or grow to be the most successful real estate brokerage in their market. And then we equip them with everything that JPAR has, our proven successful model, our best-in-class technology systems, and our world-class support to help them achieve that goal.
And then when you say you're 100% commission brokerage or company, what do you mean by that?
We allow agents to keep 100% of their commission in their pocket. And we also provide them with everything that they need in order to build a successful business. So whereas most agents will go to a company that provides them with a lot of technology and they have to sacrifice split in order to do that. So they will have to pay 10, 20, 30% sometimes to their broker in order to get that kind of support and those kind of technology systems. And we are able to do that because of our rapid expansion and because of our growth. We're able to provide the agents with that type of technology and support that they need without charging them large splits to go with that.
Awesome. And then let's talk about trends. So March 2020 happens. The pandemic starts to hit, information starting going out. How did the real estate market react at the beginning?
Well, the beginning of things, everyone freaked out. We all thought it would be the crash of everything, and we all had those 2008 flashbacks again and started preparing for it. But the pandemic has actually done some pretty great things for the real estate market in contrast to what everyone kind of expected to happen. people became forced to stay at home, and that they're home a lot more than they're used to being at home, and they're working from home, they're homeschooling their kids at home, and all of this has kind of changed housing needs altogether. People have been wanting to move from crowded cities to more of a rural living situation. They want more space, more privacy, more protection. People are that may have been renting in the past, they're starting to realize that they have very little rights when they rent. They could get kicked out at any time, or a lot of renters have just been shaken up by the situation, and wanted to stop renting and start, investing in their future. I think overall, we're just seeing people go into kind of a protection mode with their real estate. They want to own a home, they want to be easily protected, and they want to have more space for their family to spread out. So it's actually been one of the biggest increases in sales month over month since the pandemic has happened that I've seen in this in any market.
And then are you seeing an increase across the board with new homes and existing homes, or has one or the other kind of trended a little bit higher than the other?
I think everything is just going really fast. It really
Right.
depends on where you are in the country. For a lot of places in the country don't have a lot of new home, availability anymore. And so I think that people wanting to move out away from the cities is causing, or get kind of bringing that opportunity a little bit more, because there's more opportunity for home builders to go out to some of these areas that people may not have been interested in before and start building new homes.
And then I know you may not get into rentals that much, but are you seeing, because of COVID, the rental market change and go down just because of the pandemic itself, going into somebody else's home or that?
Yes. Well, I think mostly we see that because people are a little bit scared to get into long-term rental contracts right now. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know where they're going to be. And also, I'm seeing landlords are a little bit more reluctant to rent to people, because we've seen some of those national pandemic laws come into place that say that people may not have to pay for a long extended period of time, and that's really causing stress on landlords as well. So landlords are being a little bit more protective, and also renters are being a little bit more protective as well. So
Yeah, I didn't even think about that as far as the new laws that are protecting renters like that. I guess it would, if I was a landlord, maybe pumping my brakes a little bit before I wanted to
yeah,
open up. Um,
yeah, for sure.
so what about the prices? Are they inflating? I mean, from a financial standpoint, is it still a good time to buy or sell?
Well, nationwide, we're in a seller's market, which I don't know if that's ever happened before, but everywhere I talk to agents and brokers all across the nation on a daily basis, and everyone says we're in a seller's market, which means that if you've ever considered selling, now is the time to do it. Especially if you have an investment property or a flip that you've been working on and holding, you'll probably make more money now than you will in the next 5 to 10 years. On the
Yeah,
flip side of that, inventory is very, very low.
and that's what we're seeing here in Alabama too. I mean, we sold our house in July, and I want to say we took it off the market after 18 hours because we got so many offers in
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
And then they're in the inventory. I mean, they are snatching it up. These places can barely get the for sale sign up
It's
before an
it's
offer's
true.
on the
Multiple
table.
offers. We're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing, cash is king, obviously. People removing contingencies like appraisal contingencies and inspection contingencies. There just aren't very many options out there right now. So if you're going to buy a home, then you have to do it very strategically, and you have to make decisions very quickly. But ironically, it's also a very great time to buy, because houses may be at top dollar, but interest rates are at an all-time low. So you've got right now the Federal Reserve has voted to keep short-term borrowing rates near 0%, which equates a 30-year fixed rate mortgage to around 2.7. It's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
crazy.
not too shabby there.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a $250,000 house for around $1,000 a month. You can't beat that.
Not at all. So what about the sales methods that you're seeing with the agents now? Because I mean, are they going in and showing houses just uh, like it was a year ago, or are you seeing a bunch of different precautions, or is it becoming just online based a lot? I mean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think the agents have had to adapt a little bit, but for the most part, it's been pretty business as usual to survive as a real estate agent in the last 5 years. You've had to go online with most of your business anyway. So it really hasn't changed a lot of things, but we have seen changes to things like open houses. Most people are doing virtual open houses or implementing things like Matterport tours or live videos versus doing, where anybody and everybody could just walk in. Also, showing homes are a little bit different. People are wearing masks and sanitizing and taking off their shoes and staying socially distanced from each other. So that's changed a little bit, but nothing too out of the ordinary.
And then just to kind of flip over to another topic here, I remember being in the home building or real estate industry, and it seemed like the agents at that time were all 1099 contractors, and with that, they really didn't have an opportunity for health or voluntary benefits. Has that changed?
Well, I'd say that 99% of agents are still independent contractors. Some companies out there have tried the agent employee model. I actually used to work for one a few years ago, and it just typically doesn't work from a lot of different standpoints, management standpoints, and because the job itself is so demanding. The hours are so variable. Agents can work all day and then end up having to work all night processing an offer and then showing houses all day and then processing offers all night. So, having an employee that has set hours and a set pay structure just doesn't really work very well for the demands of the job itself. But even as independent contractors, there's healthcare options out there. The National Association of Realtors actually offers a few packages for individuals. But JPAR, we've partnered with Clearwater Benefits, and we provide some amazing healthcare packages that are saving agents about 30 to 60% versus them going out and getting healthcare on their own individually. We had an agent recently tell us that the price of their medication went from $330 per month to $7.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
bit of a
yeah.
change of pace. Yeah.
It's big. It's big. And they also said their premium is half of what they were paying through their individually sourced healthcare programs. So I hope that more and more brokerages start adapting the mentality that we need to have something in place. We need to offer agents some kind of solution for their healthcare. I always say that we at JPAR, we like to keep our agents healthy and wealthy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good luck. And so we're talking about teams and great teams. I mean, you've been a part of some great teams. You created very successful teams and businesses throughout your career. What sets a good team apart?
I think leadership is probably the first thing that comes to mind there. If a team has a good leader, that group of people can really accomplish anything. And it really, to me, just boils down to that leader having experience and the right mindset and the right systems and tools in place and just in creating an environment of success.
And then has real estate now become more of a team-like business other than an individual sport, so to say?
Teams have a huge upper hand in real estate. If you think about all the hats a typical real estate agent wears, it starts to blow your mind because you think, okay, they have to be prospecting for new business. They have to be out shuffling around buyer clients, running comps on properties, going to listing appointments, presenting things, marketing listings, showings, scheduling them, coordinating inspections. The list goes on and on. I mean, if you think about just the fact that they're preparing for closings by working together with lenders, appraisers, buyers, sellers, two sets of agents, and doing all of those things while doing the first set of things I was just talking about. I mean, no one person can be great at all of those things. So if you're an individual agent handling all of the aspects of working with buyers and sellers on your own, you're not going to be able to produce the amount that you need to produce to make good income, or you're going to be making good income and you're going to be dropping the ball in some or all of those areas. It's just not possible. So teams really allow for specialization, and then they allow for a more process oriented transaction. And I feel like the consumer really wins when a team of people are involved.
You had me at process oriented.
Yes.
So Chastity, thanks for joining us on the podcast. And we like to dig into kind of the expertise of our guests, but then we also like to maybe throw out some random rapid fire questions to get to know you as a person a little bit better. Are you game for that?
Sure.
All right. So it's going to be Family Feud style. So you can always say pass if you don't want to answer anything. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Here we go. We'll get started. So you, for our listeners don't know, may be an Auburn football fan, correct? Okay. And should Gus Malzahn be fired?
Pass.
What is the hard?
I don't want to make people mad.
I didn't know if you had jumped off the Gus bus yet, or if you were still rocking the sweater vest. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So
Yeah.
what is the hardest part about raising two teenage to preteen boys?
Oh my goodness. I would say watching them grow up way too fast. I want to keep them babies for as long as possible.
Doesn't it feel like it happens in like a month? Like, oh, you look
Yes.
taller.
Oh my gosh. Yes. My oldest is now 14 and he is taller than me.
My 12-year-old is starting to look like she's about 24 years old, and it's
Yeah.
driving me crazy. What is your favorite board game?
Board game. I love Monopoly. But I'm cheating a little bit because we don't play it board game style. We play it on the Wii as a family, and we
Yes.
have so much fun.
Is the strategy to always just go for Boardwalk and Park Place, or do you buy up everything you land on?
I don't. So I don't buy up everything I land on, but I do try to get a variety on each side of the board.
Location, location, location.
Passive income.
What is your go-to cocktail?
Oh my gosh. I'd have to say an old fashioned.
And that is my favorite cocktail as well. So you just got brownie points for that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to do what is better. I'm just going to give you two options. You pick which one,
Okay.
tacos or burritos.
Tacos all day.
Soft shell or
Living in
hard shell?
Austin. Soft shell. Living in
It's
Austin, I've been spoiled by brisket tacos.
Hold on. Austin is known for the tacos?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you go, I'm talking breakfast tacos, lunch, anytime you want, food truck tacos everywhere. It's
Is
absolutely fabulous.
it's Austin how I envision it, where every single person is good at music that you meet?
You know what? I'm kind of spoiled from Nashville. So living in Huntsville for
Ah,
so long, Nashville
yeah.
was close. And Nashville to me is just, it truly is the music capital of the world. And they call Austin that, but I didn't feel it. I wasn't getting the same overwhelming music feeling as I do in Nashville. But there is a lot of great music going on in Austin as well, but it's kind of hidden. It's like in the underground bars and things, and you have to really be a local to know where to find it.
You know my feelings for Nashville, how much I
Yeah,
love it, and there's some
it's fantastic.
stories that we will not dive into.
We've had a good time in Nashville
Yes,
before.
we have. So that brings you this, dive bar or an upscale bar?
I love upscale. You can't beat putting on a little black dress and going out and having a nice old fashioned and listening to some jazz music.
That sounded like a night with Ron Burgundy. Anyway,
Yeah, playing some jazz flute.
yes. Saved by the Bell or 90210?
Saved by the Bell all day.
Yeah, all day,
I'm
every day.
actually getting my youngest son into Saved by the Bell right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're bringing back
Kelly
old
Kapowski, man.
school.
Kelly Kapowski was a heavy part of my youth.
Yeah.
Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life?
Mm. I'm gonna have to lose a year off my life.
I agree. I'm too weak.
Yeah.
Are sailboats cool?
That's a random question. And are you wanting to buy one or?
No, I have my own feelings on sailboats. This is about you.
Oh, I was asked to go on a sailboat to sail for 2 weeks out into the ocean blue, and I got terrified about doing it. And so I'm not too sure if I'm a big sailboat fan.
Yeah,
So
the answer is no. Sailboats
I
are
like I
not
like
cool.
yachts. I'm a bit of a fancy boater.
So you mean you'd rather have a motor than have to deal with a blanket and air to get you where you
Yeah,
need to be? Yes,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Kind of
If you
like the
could
hot
go,
air balloon situation. Like I'm
I
not
mean,
down for that.
no way, not at gunpoint would I go in a hot air balloon. If you could go back in time and see any musician live, who would it be?
Michael Jackson.
Interesting. Are we talking about like Beat It days or
hmm Yeah,
Black or White
back in the
days?
day, like I'm talking in his prime, that would be the most amazing concert.
I like it. And then you've been known to travel in your life. What's your favorite place to vacation?
I'm a little biased towards Vegas. I have the best time in Vegas when I go. So many shows, always something to do. The city never sleeps. You just have a great time.
I still have never been, and it saddens me. I'm afraid I won't come back.
Yeah.
And then the final question, the most important question in my opinion. What is the best movie of all time?
I don't think you're gonna like my answer.
Oh no, what is it?
I saw it. It came out, I think it was 97 or 98, and I went to the movie theater 10 times, and it is Titanic.
I have also been to the movie theater around 10 times to see Titanic when it came out.
Nice.
It was, I mean, at the time, it was when the parents would drop you off with your date, so you couldn't
Yes,
drive yet. And I mean, that
exactly.
was 3.5 hours I got to spend.
Right?
And yeah, and every one of, yes, like you couldn't get me out of that movie theater.
I
So I
just
do
don't
not
think
hate
you
that answer.
can, yeah, I just don't think you can beat the forbidden romance story. Like, it is just,
It's a great, great, great movie. That's not a
it
bad
is.
choice. That's a good one.
Yeah,
We had somebody
yeah.
pick Clue on the show. Clue.
Oh,
Didn't know it existed. So there's movies that's been named here that I had to Google. That just um, not hating on that. Yes, I'm sure it's a
yeah,
fantastic movie. Yeah,
yeah,
fantastic movie. But
yeah,
anyway,
it
knew it existed.
is.
Uh, so Chastity, we appreciate you joining the podcast. I hope you had some fun while you were here.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
Before we sign off, we were talking before we started recording here. I mean, what if somebody was interested in becoming an owner and working with you and the team there at JPAR? What would be the first step?
You can learn everything that you need to know about our franchise at franchise.jpar.com. So that's franchise.jpar.com. We have tons of videos and resources there for you to take a look at. Interested in either starting your own brokerage from scratch, we can help you with that, or converting your independent brokerage over into being a JPAR franchise, we can help you with that too.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to include that link there in the show notes. Chastity, thanks again for joining the podcast. Hope you can come back again sometime. It was good catching up with you.
For sure. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you. And thanks to all the listeners for listening and supporting the page. You can see all things podcast related at cleartrackhr.com/podcast. Again, for our guest, Chastity Davenport, I'm your host, Zach Finney. Thank you for listening and talk to you again real soon.